Hare Krishna. Sanjay here, and here is a question that has stirred hearts for thousands of years. Who truly loves God? Is it the one who sees a form or the one who sees no form at all? Chapter 12, Part 1. Who is the true devotee? Scenes 12.1 to 12.7. Let's step in together. Introduction from vision to relationship. Scene. The battlefield is quiet again, the dust of revelation settled into sacred stillness. Krishna stands calm, radiant, the infinite made personal once more. Arjuna's trembling has subsided into peace. His eyes, which once beheld the cosmic form that encompassed creation and destruction, now gaze at his beloved guide, his friend, mentor, and Lord. Then, after witnessing Krishna as the boundless reality, Arjuna's heart turns toward understanding the nature of devotion itself. He has seen the absolute, and yet he feels drawn to the personal, to the Krishna who smiles, speaks, and guides. But he wonders, is this attachment to form a limitation? Is it higher to worship the formless divine, the eternal presence beyond name and image? He asks gently, O Krishna, between those who worship you as a personal God and those who contemplate the formless, unmanifest reality who is more perfect in yoga? This question opens one of the most beautiful and balanced teachings in the entire Gita. Krishna doesn't dismiss either path. He honors both the way of Saguna Bhakti, devotion to God with form, and Nirguna Bhakti, devotion to the formless. Yet, he lovingly reveals that for most seekers, the personal path, devotion, through relationship, love, and surrender is gentler, warmer, and more accessible. Now, for us today, this is a deeply relevant question. The modern seeker stands between faith and philosophy, between temple and meditation cushion. Some feel drawn to the personal divine Krishna, Shiva, Jesus the Mother, while others resonate with universal consciousness, energy, or truth without form. Krishna's wisdom dissolves the tension. The paths are not rivals but reflections. The personal leads to the impersonal. The lover of God ultimately realizes oneness with God. The formless seeker too serves the same divine essence only through abstraction. The key is sincerity, not theology. In today's noisy world, the mind yearns for clarity, but the heart longs for intimacy. The Gita's brilliance lies in honoring both. Krishna shows that the head and heart, logic and love, form and formlessness are complementary halves of the same whole. The test is simple. Does your practice open your heart? Does it make you more loving, fearless, and free? If yes, then that is your path. Focus. God meets you where your heart is open. Whether you see Him in a form or feel Him as formless presence, the purpose of devotion is not argument, it's union. Scene 12.1, Arjuna's question, the personal or the formless. Scene. Arjuna said, those devotees who worship you with steadfast love, and those who meditate on the imperishable, unmanifest, which of them are better versed in yoga? Then, Arjuna's voice is calm but curious. After beholding the infinite splendor of the Vishvarupa, he now wants to understand the heart of spiritual practice. He is not asking out of doubt but discernment. He has seen Krishna as both the personal deity who guides him and the infinite presence that transcends time. Which path brings one closer to truth? Arjuna's question represents a turning from fear to love. He no longer asks, why must I act? Or who are you? But how should I love you? It is the seeker's most beautiful question, not about power or control, but relationship. Now, this same question echoes through modern spirituality. Some find comfort in divine personality images, prayers, mantras. Others prefer meditation, awareness, and the abstract absolute. Krishna's response unites both. Love is the key. Whether through form or formlessness, it is devotion that purifies the heart. Religion divides forms, love dissolves them. Whether you call the divine Krishna, Allah, Christ, or truth, it is one flame burning through different lamps. Focus. Ask not which path is higher, but which makes your love deeper. Sincere devotion, in any form, leads to God. Scene 12.2, the personal devotees are closest to me. Scene. The Blessed Lord said, those who fix their minds on me with supreme faith, ever steadfast, worshipping me in love, they are the most perfect in yoga. Then Krishna answers Arjuna with a smile that carries both truth and tenderness. The highest devotees, he says, are those who love personally, who see God as a living presence, who relate, serve, and surrender. Such love transforms every action into worship and every breath into prayer. This doesn't mean God prefers one group over another. It means the personal path touches the heart more easily. The mind can argue with philosophy, but love bypasses argument. In loving devotion, the distance between seeker and sought disappears naturally. Now, in modern life, this truth still holds. The heart craves connection, not abstraction. Personal relationship with the divine as friend, father, mother, beloved makes spirituality alive. You can meditate for hours, but one moment of heartfelt surrender does what study cannot. The personal path is not less spiritual, it's more human and therefore more complete. Focus. Devotion is the simplest bridge to the infinite. When the heart loves God as real, the formless becomes personal and the personal reveals the formless. Scene 12.3 The Way of the Formless. Scene. But those who worship the imperishable, indefinable, unmanifest, omnipresent, unthinkable, immovable, and eternal, they too attain me. Then Krishna turns next to the other path, the way of the contemplative, who worships the divine as pure consciousness without name or form. These seekers meditate on the unmanifest, the infinite silence beyond creation. They see God not in a person but in presence itself, in the stillness that pervades all. Krishna acknowledges them with respect. They too reach him, for all rivers lead to the same ocean. Yet this path is harder, he gently implies, because the human heart finds it difficult to love abstraction. Without emotional anchor, devotion can become dry intellect. Now, in today's spiritual landscape, this verse honors the mystics, philosophers, and meditators who seek unity through awareness. Many modern seekers resonate with this, seeing divinity in consciousness, energy, or universal intelligence. It is a valid, profound way. Yet Krishna's compassion recognizes human limitation. Love needs a face, mind needs focus, heart needs relationship. Hence, the path of the formless suits the few, the path of love suits the many. Focus. The formless path is real but steep. If your heart yearns for form, love it. If it yearns for silence, honor it. Both reach the same truth. Scene 12.4 The difficulty of the impersonal path. Scene Those who fix their minds on the unmanifest find it very hard, for the path of the formless is difficult for embodied beings. Then Krishna speaks gently, not to discourage but to guide. He explains that to worship the unmanifest, the vast impersonal absolute, demands a level of detachment rare among humans. The senses cling to form, the heart seeks relationship. To rest the mind in the formless requires immense steadiness. Arjuna, the warrior, understands. For a heart that bleeds for kin, that loves, that feels abstraction, can feel like distance. Krishna reassures him. Devotion through relationship is not weakness, it is strength of love. Now, this verse remains timeless. In our age of intellect and information, many attempt to bypass relationship in favor of pure awareness. But love cannot be skipped. It is the doorway to realization. The human mind struggles to grasp infinity. The heart, through love, flows into it naturally. Krishna's words remind us that God's grace accommodates our nature. The divine doesn't ask us to stop feeling, only to purify our feelings into devotion. Focus. The path of the formless may test the mind, the path of love heals the heart. Choose the one that leads you closer to peace, not pride. Scene 12.5 The steep path of abstraction. Scene For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifest, the path is full of hardship, for it is difficult for embodied beings to fix the mind on the formless. Then Krishna's voice is calm yet compassionate. He acknowledges the noble seekers who meditate upon the formless, who strive to dissolve individuality into the infinite. Yet he reminds Arjuna that this path is steep. It demands the mind to transcend its own nature. To focus on something beyond space, name, and image while living in a world of constant form is like asking the eye to see what has no color. Few can sustain that abstraction without fatigue. Even the great sages struggled to keep the mind still amidst the senses' pull. Krishna is not diminishing this path. He is describing its challenge. For Arjuna, whose dharma is to fight and act, a path that demands renunciation of activity would be unnatural. Krishna's love meets the seeker where they stand. Now, for us today, this truth remains vital. Many people dive into impersonal spirituality, exploring cosmic energy, formless meditation, or intellectual inquiry into consciousness. Yet, without emotional connection or personal anchor, it can become dry, detached, or even lonely. The heart's longing for relationship is not weakness but wisdom. Personal devotion softens abstraction into intimacy. When the divine has a face, prayer becomes conversation, not philosophy. Krishna's message is timeless. Do not force yourself into what the mind calls higher. The best path is the one that opens your heart most naturally. Focus. The mountain of abstraction is steep. Climb only if your heart can breathe there. For most, love's valley leads to the same summit with less struggle, more grace. Scene 12.6, The Path of Loving Surrender. Scene. But those who worship me, surrendering all actions to me, seeing me as the supreme goal, meditating on me with single-minded devotion, them I quickly lift from the ocean of birth and death. Then Krishna's voice grows tender, like a parent reassuring a child. He reveals the essence of Bhakti Yoga, to offer every action, every thought, every moment to the divine. Such surrender transforms ordinary life into sacred practice. The promise here is breathtaking. Those who live in this way are not left alone to struggle. Krishna himself carries them across life's storms. This is not poetic exaggeration, it is the very definition of grace. For Arjuna, this is the perfect reassurance. He is not a monk or scholar. He is a warrior with duties, attachments, and fears. Krishna assures him that he need not abandon life, he only needs to infuse it with surrender. To live and act as an offering is the highest renunciation. Now, this verse touches modern seekers deeply. Many believe spirituality demands withdrawal or perfection. Krishna breaks that myth. True devotion does not escape the world, it transforms it. Your work, relationship struggles all can become prayer when offered with love. And when effort ends, grace begins. Krishna's promise remains eternal. I will carry you. Focus. When you give yourself fully, God takes care of the rest. Surrender is not losing control, it is resting in divine support. Scene 12.7. God carries the devotee. Scene. Those who fix their minds on me, who constantly worship me with love, I myself carry their burdens and ensure their welfare. Then, this verse is among the most tender in the entire Gita. Krishna declares himself not only as the goal but as the companion. He does not delegate grace, he becomes it. Imagine Arjuna's relief. The friend he once saw as his charioteer now reveals himself as the caretaker of his destiny. The Lord who governs the cosmos bends down to hold one heart that loves him. This is the humility of God, the infinite, serving the finite out of love. Krishna doesn't promise the absence of challenges, he promises his presence through them. When the devotee's heart is surrendered, no burden remains personal, it becomes divine work. Every loss, every trial turns into purification. Now, in our world of anxiety and self-reliance, this verse is healing medicine. We are taught to carry everything, success, image, responsibility, alone. Krishna's teaching reverses this. Let go and let God carry. Faith is not escape from effort, it's freedom from ego. When love becomes the motive, grace becomes the motion. Focus, the highest strength is trust. God doesn't test to destroy, He walks beside you to complete you. Let go, the divine will carry what you cannot. Closing summary, the heart chooses the path. Scene, the dust of battle glows with new light. Arjuna stands still, the bow firm in his hand, but his heart softer than ever before. The infinite, which once filled the sky with terrifying majesty, now fills his being with love. Then, through scenes 12.1 to 12.7, Krishna has guided Arjuna and all seekers from the question of theology to the truth of relationship. Arjuna asked, who is greater, the personal devotee or the formless seeker? Krishna answered not with judgment but wisdom. Those who worship the formless, 12.3, 12.5, follow a lofty, difficult path demanding immense detachment. Those who worship the personal divine, 12.2, 12.6, 12.7, walk the gentler way of love and surrender. Both reach the same destination, the infinite, but love arrives with fewer wounds. Krishna's compassion is clear. God meets the devotee where love is easiest. He does not ask you to climb mountains of abstraction when the heart blooms in relationship. For Arjuna, this means liberation within action. He need not flee his duties, he must only dedicate them. By fixing his mind on Krishna, every arrow he releases becomes worship, every breath becomes offering. Now, this teaching is a balm for modern souls. In an age of spiritual comparison where seekers argue over which path is superior, Krishna's voice rises above division. There is no competition in love. Whether you meditate on formless awareness or sing to a personal God, the destination is the same. The only requirement is sincerity, the open heart. And to those who feel weary, Krishna offers the final promise, I will carry you. In a world that prizes self-sufficiency, this is the ultimate relief. Divine partnership replaces loneliness. Life becomes not a test, but a collaboration with grace. This is the beauty of Bhakti Yoga, not worship out of fear, but love out of freedom. Focus. Devotion is the great equalizer. You don't need to be perfect, you only need to be sincere. Love God in your way through song, silence, or service, and the infinite will walk beside you, carrying your heart across every storm. And that is where we step out for today. Krishna has not asked for perfection, he has asked for love. Carry that with you until our next scene. Hare Krishna.